Hello everyone, this is Science for Quarter 2, Week 4, and our topic for today is all about plants and animals and their habitats. This is for Day 1. So today, let's talk about plants and animals and their habitats. But first, let us tackle first about terrestrial habitat. Do you have any idea about terrestrial habitat? By the way, the learning competency on this topic is the learners use a drawing or diagram to classify some Philippine animals and plants based on their habitat. Some live on land or terrestrial, live in water, aquatic, or fly in the air. For our instructional objectives, we have list plants and animals that thrive on terrestrial habitats. Second, categorize living things that live on land. Third, explain the characteristics and adaptation of plants and animals that live on terrestrial habitats. Since we're talking about living organisms, so do you have any idea about living organisms? So here we have question number 1. Okay, what are the basic needs for survival of all the living organisms? So when we say basic needs, those are the needs that is very essential for living. So just like human being, what is the basic needs that we cannot survive without them? You're right. We have basic like food, shelter. Okay, why is it important to understand where different plants and animals find their survival needs? Why do we need to know them? Let's first, can you give examples of living organisms and their specific survival needs? Okay, who can give me example of living organisms? This could be plants or animals. And how are they going to survive? Now, I have here plants. Do you know the names of these plants? How about this one? Do you know this one? Where does this live? How about the second one? The third and the fourth? Where do these plants live? Do you have any idea? You're right. The first one is water lily. Where does water lily live? Very good. From the name itself, water. How about this one? Cactus. Where does cactus live? You're right. In a desert. And we also have sunflower and fern. So let us continue about the plants that we have seen on the previous slide. So will that plant, do you think would the water lily would grow in the other area other than water? Why do we need to classify plants and animals based on their place they live? So by the way, we always talk about classifying plants. In Bisaya, classifying is atoa siyang i-arrange according sa disdain nila nga characteristics. So classification of plants based on their differences in the height of stems and branches. So for example, trees, shrubs, climbers, and herbs. So when we say trees, these are its characteristics, plants that grow very tall and have a strong hard stems and trunks. And we say shrubs, these are medium in height with strong hard stems. When we say climbers, plants that have weak stems that grow on support, so they need something that can support them. And we say herbs, plants that is soft and flexible stems. So these are the specific characteristics of trees, shrubs, climbers, and herbs. Now here, do you have a favorite animal? What is your favorite animals? And how can we group the animals and plants you all mentioned based on where they live? Okay, where is your favorite animal live? Okay, we will also be grouping the animals, not just plants, or we will also be classifying the animals, just like we did on the plants. So animals are also living things. Why do you say so? They are living things because they also um, just just like the plants, they also have life. Like plants and animals, they need food, water, and live. And like plants, which make, di ba, ang mga plants, they make their own food. So the animals depends on the plants and other animals. So animals feed themselves by eating plants or other animals. And animals can also sense what goes around them. So for example, if there is danger, they can sense that one. So their bodies allow them to move. So unlike plants, plants cannot move without by themselves, but the animals can move all by themselves. So in your own way of thinking, so diba, we talk about the plants and how we're going to classify them. So is it really important for the scientists to understand or classify them according to their habitats, just like the orchids? So is it really important that we know that the orchids live on the air? So I have here similar meanings of the following words. So a house is a building. So as you can see, the house is being highlighted, is a building where one lives. So where do you live in your house? So it may be simple or elaborative and may be self-owned or rented. And abode is a place for stay, permanent for some time. So you can see there is an elaborated word that is a house and an abode. The second one is environment. So environment refers to the surroundings. So this is the place, whereas the ecosystem is the interaction between the environment and the living organisms. So as you can see, environment refers to the surroundings. And when there is an interaction between the environment and the living organisms, it is already called an ecosystem. We also have here the locale comprises the language, where territory, the code set combination to identify a set of language convention. And surroundings refers to the environment or vicinity around you. So to be in the vicinity of something is to be close to that place or thing. Okay. Do you know them now, the meaning of the following words? So I think this topic is really broad. So, but first, let us unlock first the content area vocabulary. So I have here jumbled letters or jumbled words to make it fit for the meaning. So I have scrambled this letter of the word. So all you have, all you are going to do is to arrange this one to make this fit to the given meaning I have will give. So for example, we have here physical space where an organism lives or grows. So what is that? So let's arrange this letter AABHITT. So what word can you form? Very good. So that's a habitat. So habitat, it is the physical space where the organism lives. How about this one? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So refers to the things related to the land or the planet Earth. So timanin ninyo, it's related to the land. Oh, what word is that? For the planet Earth. Okay, that's right. The correct answer is terrestrial. So when you say terrestrial or terrestrial, it refers to the things related to the land. Just like when you say terrestrial plants. So plants that live on the land. How about this one? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 letters. So growing or living in or frequenting water. So these are the mostly plants and animals that live on. Not necessarily plants and animals, but they grow or something that is related to water. Do you have any answer? That's right. The correct answer is aquatic. So when you say aquatic, it is growing or living in or frequently on water. From the word aqua, this one, occurring in the air or atmosphere. So something related to the air or in the atmosphere. What do you call, what is that word? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 letters. Yeah, right. That's aerials or occurring in the air or atmosphere. So here, living things that animals and land are plants and animals that live on land. We have terrestrial plants. We have example of that is the forest. Okay, so if the trees live on the forest or any plants that live on the forest, let's discover its characteristics. So let's imagine that you go to the forest and let us discover what are the characteristics of plants that live there. Okay, so first, forests serve as the habitat for a broad range of plants, small and big. By the way, have you gone to the forest? Okay, how about this one? The canopy of its tall trees has leaves that are very dense and thick. When you say thick, it's makapal. So third one is the leaves in the trees block the sun rays. That makes the forest slightly damp and dark. So in the forest, it's quite dark. Suitable for, okay, like mosses and ferns. So under it, others live and the small one, the mosses and the ferns under the big tall trees. So this picture is, as you can see, there are many tall trees in the forest. So let's remember this one. In the Philippines, forest called tropical rainforest because they receive great amount of rainfall. Okay. Ano siyang gitawag siya og tropical forest because um, nakaka-receive sila ng maraming ulan. How about the grassland? So grassland is still part of the terrestrial, a large area of land covered with grass. Okay, by the way, pero mostly no sa mga forest natin sa buong bansa is nagiging endanger or lumiliit sila. Kaya it's important to um, take care of the environment. So if magputol ng kahoy, we have to replace it. So let's have first characteristics and adaptation of plants that live on the grassland. So this is for the grassland. So it's filled with different types of grasses. So do you think grasses are important in the ecosystem? So it can be humid and wet for tall grasses and hot grasses. So here, what can you see in the picture? It's a desert. So when we say desert, it is quiet, hot region. Do we have desert here in the Philippines? No. So these are the characteristics of desert. So desert is a harsh environment with extreme temperature. So napakainit. Second, it is very hot in the day and cold at night. So napakalamig din sa gabi. Okay, so but do you think plants can survive in a desert? So these are the plants that can survive there. We have the cactus, euphorbia, and trees that survive. So the plants that survive in the desert are called, they have a waxy stem and have some spines. So as you can see in the cactus, it has waxy stems and has spines. Why do you think they have spines? It's for, what do you think? Protection. So this is the grassland. There are so many animals. And in the other picture, we have the desert. So I say tundra, a major zone for treeless level or rolling ground. So mga po ni siya characteristics sa tundra. It is known for frozen. So kung ang desert kanina, it's very hot. The tundra is malamig. So only certain like mosses, lichens, cotton grass, and low-lying shrubs can survive. Yan po ang tinatawag nating tundra. So, ito po ang picture niya. So, nag-yellow. So, we also have terrestrial plants. So, by the way, terrestrial animals. So, saan nga nakatira ang mga terrestrial animals? So, mostly, they live on, predominantly entirely on land. So, yan lang po ang sa mga utak natin. Terrestrial animals or plants, mostly they live on land. So, by the way, can fish belong to terrestrial animals? No, because they live on water. So I have here a list of animals. So tamaraw, is it terrestrial? Banana tree, cat, water lily, horse, crocodile, grass, turtle, and what word is this? Mouse. Ano? Wait. Mouse. Okay, how about this one? So paste printed pictures of organisms listed below on the table. On the table, we have jellyfish. So we have to classify if terrestrial ba siya or not. So you're just going to put in your mind that terrestrial plants and animals, they live on land. So how can we identify, sa paano ba natin makikilala ang plant if they live on terrestrial habitat or not? And what are the common characteristics? So terrestrial plants, they have what is their common characteristic? How about the habitats? So ecological life support, biodiversity provides functioning that supply oxygen, clean air, and water, pollination. And for recreational, pursuits rely on unique biodiversity such as bird watching, hiking, camping, and fishing. So let's talk here. We're done with the terrestrial, so let's have the aquatic habitat. So where does aquatic habitat found? Is it still on land? So will you mention, let us name this picture. We have the fish, the shark, the seahorse, the dolphin, the whale, the crab, and the squid or the octopus. The octopus, I mean. So where do they live? How about this one, the plants? We have the water lily, the goby. Okay, what is the common in their environment? So let us all remember that habitats are places in water where different plants and animals live. So as I mentioned, these animals or plants, they live on water. So there are two types of aquatic plants. We have the fresh water or yung hindi maalat na tubig. And then there are also example of them. Have you gone to a river, or what are the possible plants found in that area? So these are the characteristics of common freshwater plants: have rounded and glossy leaves. So mostly, as you can see on the water lily, they have rounded and glossy. When say glossy, yan po ang um, yung katulad ng gabi, hindi siya nababasa. So they are supported with fleshy stalks and have air spaces. So some have rounded stems and thick, waxy leaves. So waxy, that's yung hindi na kabasa tulad ng gabi. So mostly these are the plants and habitats. Okay, plants. Can you give me example of plants and animals that live on plants? How about the rivers, the lakes, the oceans? The oceans. So possible answers, here you are. So there are fishes and there are plants that live on the aquatic habitat. So here, I will just group you into 4. No. So present the classification to the class. So the slide that I mentioned. So place the picture on the corresponding habitat post and use markers and labels to identify and describe its species. So here, let's talk about the aerial habitat. So do you have any idea about what animals and plants that live on aerial habitat? So aerial habitat, those are organisms that live and perform their tasks in an airborne environment referred as having aerial habitats. So for examples, the birds, the bats, and the insects. So we also have plants, the orchids, ferns, and mosses. So these are its characteristics. So air plants get common name because they're all nutrients from moisture. So they get their nutrients not on the soil but on the moisture. Air plants use plants or structure to support them. So mostly just like the orchids, they live on the other plants. They are not parasites because they're not parasites because they do not damage supporting plants. So they use the root system only to attach. So they do not damage. So they are just what kind of some what kind of there is a relationship between the plants and the other plants. So aerial, or another word for that is arboreal. So mostly they found in forests, spend most of the time on trees. One of the most peculiar characteristics are can easily climb on a tree or canopy. So these are the examples of aerial animals. We have the bat, the flying fox. Have you seen these animals? Flying fish, flying squirrel, Wallace flying frog, flying squid, Colgo flying snake, and flying ray. So I have here an activity. So here I will give you some clues. So I think you can do this one on a sheet of paper. So these are the clues. Number 1, number 2, number 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So, so this is for, I think you're done with your activity. So what do you think it's important to learn about organisms? Is it important that we'll learn all the habitats? How do we protect aerial habitats? How are we going to protect the aerial habitats to conserve the ecosystem? So how are we going to protect the area? May magagawa ba tayo? So, any answer? So, protect, restore. When I say protect, so gagawin natin ang lahat para maprotektahan ang ating ecosystem. And then to climate action, to combat climate action, taking urgent action. So, climate change, environmental degradation, equal issues, and remind every child has the most disadvantage. So, is it important to conserve the ecosystem? So, siguro nakita nyo na sirang-sira ng ating ecosystem. So, as children, may magagawa ba tayo to preserve them? So, through not throwing garbage anywhere. And we also have to not destroy all these organisms. Okay, so what have we learned today? So think about what you've learned about the habitats and plants, like where they live and how they survive. So here we already have, I want you to get another sheet of paper. All you have to do now is to write the letter of the correct answer. This is 1 up to 10. So I think you're ready, and I will just pause it here and for you to continue your work. Okay, goodbye, children.